Here's a little bit of different content from me. Welcome to a review of the Cyberbike Mullet R. It has arrived. The Cyberbike. I'm not an e-bike reviewer, but I'm going to do my best to look at and review this Cyberbike Mullet Type R. Mid-drive, full suspension, mountain bike.
Originally I wanted the blue.
Next is dealing with those staples. I'm wearing gloves to not get cut. I'm just going to pull them out instead. It makes life easier. Here it is. Got the handlebars here.
It's a pump. It didn't come out of the box during shipping.
Something here.
It was helpful to have two people to take the bike out of the box.
So far it looks pretty solid. It's got the larger front wheel here. Everything is pretty well padded. We opted for the Arctic gray color. One thing which they only kind of backhandedly called out in the instructions for putting this together was do not squeeze the brake handles wherever they are.
Of course, watch later when I do squeeze the brake handles by accident.
Here, whoops, it winds up locking it together and it's really hard to get apart. There's the old school suspension. It's just a.
From what I'm seeing online, it looks like some of the bikes are shipping with a black fork, some are shipping with a gold fork. I like the black one that we got.
The first thing needed to do is taking this off and installing the handlebars. Big deal in the directions about not losing these screws. So, bracket holding the instrument gauge, whatever this is. The bracket holding that has slipped over. I just need to loosen it up a little bit and slide it over, center it again, I think. It would seem that this has been put on backwards at the factory. So I'm gonna have to take this piece off. And
right there, you see that? I squeezed them, but apparently not enough to make a difference.
The screen looks a lot smaller than.
What you don't know is that's a knockoff of Fox.
Yeah, I kind of.
It was like a famous brand.
No, I know. I used to have Fox.
You get the Wolf. Turns out, open the box first. I've been using my own tools, but there's a lovely little set of tools that came with the bike, as well as for the thing that connects the front wheel together. I guess that's a backlight. It's like a light. Pedals. And directions. I've been reading them off a PDF. And I guess this is the axles. Yeah, this is a charger. Okay. Where are the axles? Here it is. I went through the box. Quite delighted to find a nice set of Allen wrenches. Don't need them, but thank you anyway. And the wrench, which I will use. Also don't need it. But there's a bike pump in here too, which I don't know much about. I already have one of those too. And there's a backlight, that's sweet. But I think that the axle is here. Yes, it is. The front wheel went on kind of easy peasy. Trick was just prying these apart a little bit. You had to, this thing unscrews basically the whole way. It's not a quick release, it just unscrews. This is the boost axle. And then lowering it down, I found, and then prying it apart slightly, basically lined up, and then push this through and it's in. It's pretty big. Their instructions for adjusting this caliper are about as clear as mud. I guess I'm trying to read through them again. Also, it looks like the dropper post comes not connected. That's a major pain in the butt. Guessing this is the cable for the dropper post and this is the controller, and yeah, well, that's, I watched that video on their website and it looks like it's going to be a bit of a project. Directions talk about a oval screws on the mounting bracket. I don't know what on earth the mounting bracket is, or which of these screws are oval. None of them look oval to me. So it also says if you hear a coarse grinding sound, then you got to do this. I don't think I got a coarse grinding sound. It doesn't work. There's a bit of a noise, but it also says some noise is normal while new, so I don't know what to do. I'm going to move on to the next step, which is installing the pedals. I'm starting to watch the video about installing the dropper post, and I'll tell you what, that looks like a real pain in the neck, and I don't know why they didn't do it at the factory. Cyberbike, in your award-winning film, you didn't bother explaining why we need to do this at all, and I don't know what this is for. Maybe this is just dead. Maybe it's for another feature. Maybe I don't need to do all that dropper post stuff. I don't know. We're talking about installing the kink guard, and this sure looks like the kink guard right here is already installed. This, I'm guessing, is the dropper, and this is the throttle over here. So, I don't know. Is this already installed? What is this cable here, though? Yeah, it looks like it just runs from here and into this little cluster that has different electronics. So maybe this is just dead. I mean, this could be the lead for the headlight is my guess. So maybe this seat post is already installed. The dropper's already installed. I guess maybe that was some of them came from the factory without it installed and they needed to backtrack. I have no idea, but this one's working. As much as I would like to take this out for a ride right now, I am going to wait for a day when it's not wet. I guess for right now I'll just charge up the battery. Hold the red button. How long do I hold the red button for? I think 2 seconds to turn it off. How long do you hold it to turn it on? There it is. Oh boy. Well, I didn't clearly how it's supposed to go. It's really flat there. It was installed the right way somehow. Top of the thing. I need to figure that one out. I'm guessing that this is going to go like up under here. Who am I kidding? Of course I'm gonna go for a test ride. Wet or not. This is how it is. Checking it out.
I was attempting to bed the brakes, but also once you get started riding, it's a little tough to stop.
I'm just breaking in the brake, but it seems like it works pretty good.
I mean, I don't think I need it any higher.
It's in what the seat or?
The seat.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Then it
Well,
was Dip's
we would
turn to
lower it
give it
for
a
you.
shot.
You know, the main part. I think it rides pretty nice. It'll be interesting to see what it's like out on a trail. I'm also gonna bring it up to compare with my brother-in-law's Specialized Turbo Levo. You have to push it hard. Oh, no, that's the gear shifter, babe.
Oh, where's the top seat? This one?
Yeah, you gotta slow down so I can show you. And there you go. Don't use the brakes all the way to stop yet. Yeah, use the levers under the handlebar to shift, babe. I've only ridden like I said, I've only ridden my brother-in-law's Specialized Turbo Levo a few times, but this certainly does a good job of imitating that type of style of cockpit and whatnot. And it'll be interesting to see what his take is on how well it performs. The throttle works pretty good. For certain. It's got some kick to it. That's in like a low gear. Lots of fine tuning to do. Seems like it tops out at about 20, 21 miles an hour in pedal assist 5 and top gear. And I couldn't get it to go any faster than that with the throttle. I've got it unlocked to 60 kilometers per hour, which in theory should be about 35 miles an hour, and it's not going to hit that. It seems to be capped about 20. And it has plenty of power right up till 20. Maybe there's some secret way of unlocking it, I don't know, but right now it seems like that's about the top of it. A lot of fine tuning to do, but basic gist is all here. Pretty fun. Ooh. But you gotta be careful not to put any input into the pedals because it wants to jump forward. A little bit of a track here in the middle of town. And apparently I did not put enough torque into this bolt right here because that's what happened going around the corner. The fork's totally turned. It's this screw right here, stem screw, and I believe I have it tightened up enough now, but I don't want to over tighten it, so I think I might invest in some torque wrenches. These Actually turned out to be pretty helpful and good sized. It's time to give it its first charge. Let's see what the charger is. It's a 2.5 amp charger. 2 amp charger. I think the battery is
Correction,
like 600
13 amp hours.
Watt hours, like I forget how many amp hours, 14 amp hours, so like it's going to take like 7 hours or something to charge. Let's see what happens here. Just pull this plug out, I guess, and shove this one in. Red, it's charging. Nice touch. There's that red back there. This blue and red here. Kind of nice that it carries through. Red and blue. And overall, I'm pretty happy so far. I need to make sure that the front forks don't come out of alignment every time I go around a corner. But I think that was my fault, not anything to do with Cyberbike. I think I adjusted them to straighten them, and clearly I didn't tighten them enough. Well, I think I've got everything tightened up. I ordered a torque wrench to officially tighten to the right torques. Bringing a multi-tool along with me just in case. And it's time for the maiden ride. Going about 20 minutes, so I don't know what that 42 means. I've gone 5 miles, but I guess maybe that's a total odometer. It says I've got 23 miles of range left. Now, I've been riding mostly uphill. Well, I've done about 2 miles of uphill, 1.5 miles of uphill. I think about 800 feet of elevation gain total. It'll be interesting to see what the total range is. She pulled pretty nice going up the hill. No complaints about that. It's a little bit small for me. We got the size medium because I'm going to be sharing it with my wife, who's 5'7" and I'm 6 feet. But it's not uncomfortable. It's just I think I could have fit on a large. Well, chatted with my brother-in-law for a minute. He got the same bike, but a Cyclone for his wife, and he said it has the less power than his Turbo Levo. I decided to take the long way home through some backcountry roads, fire roads. So far it's handling pretty great. The mileage, predicted mileage, kind of bounces around depending on what pedal assist you're in. I kind of wish I had a GoPro or an Insta360, but I hope you're getting the idea that it's pretty fun to ride. Power is not out of control. It's not an outrageous amount of power at all, which is good, but also may be bad depending on how much power you want. The gears seem like they're popping pretty hard when I shift under load. Doesn't seem like there's any kind of automatic cutout on the motor when you shift. That's a little bit of an issue, and there's a little bit of a lag between when you stop pedaling and when the power stops. So shifting under load is definitely making the gears crunch a little bit, pop a little bit.
I need to figure that one out, compensate for it with my riding somehow. That was fun, and where it got fun was where it got muddy on a downhill, and I had to improvise, get off the trail a little bit, and get through the mud a little bit, and it handled it great. I'm definitely noticing the rear suspension. I've never ridden a bike with a rear suspension before, and it feels a little squirrely sometimes, but also it takes the bumps out pretty sweet. And getting used to the dropping posts, using it on the downhills gives you a lot of more of a feeling of control. Being able to sit low and hug the seat between your knees. Picking up some mud here. We've been riding about an hour and we've gone about 10 miles. And it says that we have 13 left. And that was up a fair amount of hill. I would say we maybe did somewhere close to 1,500 feet of vertical, something like that. But gives you an idea. I've been riding it mostly in pedal assist 3 and 4. So I don't know, you might get 20 miles out of an aggressive riding and 30 miles out of a very economic riding. I'm going to do a range test at some point and see, I think. Trying out walk mode. I don't have a lot of mountain biking experience. Walk machine mode. Just tried to go up this little hill, didn't make it. I think if I had a little more speed going, maybe more skill. Yeah, I'm finished. Overall, it says I did about 13 miles, an hour and 10 minutes. That last little bit got going pretty fast. I hit 40 miles an hour downhill on the odometer, and the bike felt pretty smooth. And then claiming I have 16 miles left with 42% of the battery left. I don't know how accurate that 16 miles would be then. Overall, it was a blast. Super fun. If you're wondering how they get this bike together for $2,000, we paid $19.95 when it was on sale for $1,000 off. Supposedly it's a $29.95, a $3,000 bike. If you're wondering how they get there, it has a Wolf shock and Wolf brakes. Hydraulic. A Pro Max handlebar. I don't know if that's any good or not. The A7LTWOO shifter that I can't tell what brand it is. The brand is L2. No idea what brand it is, but I think it's got 11 speeds. Maybe 10 speeds. Let's count here. Certainly looks like 10 speeds. The A7, but no brand. Seems to work okay. Can you see a brand on this chain at all? I don't know. It's gonna need some lube though. Wolf brakes. The Maxxis Forecaster tires, which add a lot of bling, I suppose. overall it was pretty burly. And now I'm a mountain bike novice, so it was burly for a mountain bike novice. Wires are a little messy, and there are a lot of them. And then these two cables, this is the rear shifter cable, this is the rear brake cable. They both kind of just sit here zip tied, and they'll go through the frame. It's kind of a lot of wires, but it doesn't look terrible. It is an electric bike. I guess wires are part of the package. The seat here seems to be a bit of a compromise between a truly sporty seat and a comfortable seat. I think we're going to get an even more comfortable seat. Deb just found the throttle button. On old reliable. She's using the throttle to get away from me. There's going to be maybe a range test and a comparison against the Specialized Turbo Levo as well. And there's one thing that I didn't mention in the test in this video, which is this crank bolt right here came apparently from the factory untightened. I tightened mine up by hand. They say you're supposed to tighten it to 40 Newton meters, which I don't have a torque wrench that handles that. Hope you enjoyed the review. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you next time.